From DHK, the late news with Jeremy Lowe. Good evening, I'm Jeremy Long. Here are the headlines. Hong Kong Law Society to boycott government's legal aid. LaSalle student caught with illicit drugs. Hillary Clinton says Iran must discuss nuclear issues. Osama bin Laden has vowed to continue fighting the US. Here is the main story. The Law Society's Criminal Law and Procedure Committee has announced a month-long boycott of criminal legal aid cases in October. The protest is against the government's refusal to review the system. Members want the government to provide more resources and funding. The committee's chairman, Stephen Hong, believes the action won't affect people seeking legal aid. A LaSalle college student has been placed on probation for 12 months for possessing the psychotropic drug, ecstasy, and a painkiller. The teenager will have to take urine tests and seek treatment if he reoffends while on probation. A teacher and a prefect at the college alerted the police in April after noticing the pupil acting suspiciously. 4 people sustained serious injury and more than 70 others were also hurt after the typhoon Kopu swept past Hong Kong. Most of them were struck by falling objects. A major cleanup operation has been underway after the strong winds and heavy rain fell more than 300 trees and caused widespread damage. 8 areas were affected by flooding, with Tai O on Langtao Island the worst hit. The observatory said while Typhoon Kopu wasn't particularly strong, it intensified from a tropical storm to a typhoon quite quickly before lashing Hong Kong. The chairman of PCCW, Richard Lee, has formally dropped the plan to appeal a court decision against the privatization of his firm. It ends the US $2.1 billion saga. A statement was issued late last night by Mr. Lee's company, Pacific Century Regional Developments to Singapore Stock Exchange. The statement said the decision not to appeal was made after careful deliberation, with an eye to drawing an end to the matter. Mr. Lee had been considering an appeal to the Court of Final Appeal to debate issues of law raised during the court hearing. US Secretary of State Hillary Clinton says Iran must answer head-on concerns about its nuclear program at talks with world powers on October 1st. Clinton said the issue cannot be ignored and was the key reason why the US agreed to take part in the talks. Tehran last week offered comprehensive talks but did not mention its nuclear program. The West fears that Iran is secretly developing nuclear weapons, a claim denied by Tehran. Iran insists it's programmed for its civilian purposes only. We have made clear to its Iranians that any talks we participate in must address the nuclear issue head-on. Clinton said in Washington. She said the talks were a fulfillment of President Barack Obama's pledge. Iran says it has a number of issues it wishes to discuss with us, but what we are concerned about is discussing with them the questions surrounding their nuclear program and ambitions, she said. Clinton said the US will wait to see how Iran responds in that face-to-face venue. Japan's parliament has elected former opposition leader Yukio Hatoyama as prime minister, following his party's landslide election victory last month. Mr. Hatoyama's left-of-center party controls 308 of the 480 seats in Parliament's lower chamber, which selects a prime minister. Prime Minister Taro Aso and his cabinet resigned earlier in the day to pave the way for the new government. The selection of Mr. Hatoyama has ended more than 50 years of nearly unbroken rule by Mr. Aso's conservative Liberal Democratic Party. Mr. Hatoyama has promised to shake up Japan's political system, cutting government waste, reinvigorating the world's second largest economy, and focusing policies on consumers, not big business. I am excited by the prospect of changing history, Mr. Hatoyama said before the vote in Parliament. I also feel the weight of the responsibility of making history. His first task will be to name a cabinet. Media reports said he had already chosen Katsuya Okada as his foreign minister and Hirohisa Fuji as his finance minister. The UN's head of political affairs, Lynn Pascoe, is to meet Sri Lanka government officials for urgent talks on the thousands of Tamils still detained in camps. 4 months after the end of the civil war, Mr. Pascoe said he was very concerned about slow progress on letting the refugees return home. He said he'll also raise the issue of the treatment of UN staff in Sri Lanka. A spokesman for the Children's Fund has had his visa revoked, and 2 local UN staff have been detained. Several mortars or rockets have been fired at Baghdad's fortified Green Zone government district shortly after US Vice President Joe Biden flew in to keep up US pressure on Iraq's leaders to reach political compromises. Iraqi police said 2 suspected mortar rounds landed near the sprawling US embassy compound in the Green Zone, but did not hit it. Biden had met with the US ambassador, Chris Hill, and the top US military commander, General Ray Odinero, just before the mortar strikes. Mr. Biden's second visit to Iraq in 3 months signaled that the Obama administration is anxious to resolve long outstanding disputes between Kurdish, Shiite, and Sunni Iraq communities all over land and oil. At least 38 people have been killed in flash floods in a remote region of Indonesia's North Sumatra province. A spokesman for the provincial government said the flood hit the coastal district of Mandalay, natal 275 kilometers southwest of the provincial capital Medan. Powerful waters unleashed after the Sulang Aling River overflowed, uprooted trees and smashed through houses in 6 villages. That's it for now. From all the team, good night.